Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CvCISO podcast number 74. My name is Andy. I'm your host. Usually today we have the founder of FR Secure, Evan Francine, but unfortunately he is on vacation. Please be safe, Evan, and get back to us soon. We have Executive Director.
We just lost a couple viewers. Come back.
But not you.
That, should I?
You're going to stick around, right?
I shouldn't have said that. I should have left that out.
He'll be joining shortly, like in a week.
He'll be coming soon. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we have Executive Director of Security Studio Academy, Dave Tuckman. And now he puts the Don in Jordan, the treasurer of the Minnesota CBCSO chapter. He makes TikTok videos from his car, Jordan Money Darlington. And also today we have a distinguished member of the CBCSO community joining us, Dan Ovick. He is an information security consultant from FR Secure, the president of the Minnesota CvCISO chapter, and also known as Dan the Man Ovick. Also,
I have a job at the local chapter.
Say what?
Doing stuff.
You're the president? Yeah, you're the president.
Presidente.
Exactly.
Oh, that's news to me.
You didn't get the memo?
Who's been running these meetings then?
Did we forget to hit send?
Who's been running these meetings?
Well,
All right.
There's no pay, if that's what you're asking for.
There's certainly no pay.
Well, I didn't know I was supposed to be doing stuff.
But we give stellar references. All right. Also, we have Jo Moldenauer. She is an associate security analyst and newly minted CISSP holder and one heck of a great coworker. A couple of quick items before we begin. The CvCISO program begins January the 5th, 2026. It is a great opportunity to level up your skills in risk assessment, information security, and leadership. No prerequisites, no attendance taken, and amazing guest speakers. And also coming soon, the CvCISO Level 3 courses will be out in Q1 of 26, and also the API security courses will be live as well.
Yes.
Amazing opportunities. For more details, reach out to me on LinkedIn or via email. Discounts available.
Yes.
That's it for coming events. Take it away, ladies and gentlemen.
Remember Marv Albert? Yes.
What did you do? Was that him?
Yes. And it counts.
Isn't that on the Prices Right?
No, he was
that was Bob Barker.
That was the pet population.
Yeah. Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets before we go to this before we finally break.
Dave has a lot of pets.
Yeah.
Sorry, I already led us down the wrong path.
It was great. One sentence in. But no, I just real quickly want to touch on what Andy was talking about, where we are super excited that the level 3 courses are finally going to market, and they will be instructor led. Brian Gibbs will be the instructor, and actually on a couple for the budgeting and the communication courses, Vinay, the CFO at FR Secure, will be one of the guest subject matter experts joining us to share her experiences and perspective from the CFO seat. So very excited about those. And we'll be telling you all more, but super excited to have our esteemed guest, Mr. Dan Ovick, who's been
Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah. For those that aren't in your regular fan base, perhaps you could share a little bit about yourself, your journey, and
can you play guitar while doing it?
And we'll fall in line and validate your statements.
Make sure I'm actually telling the truth.
I never said that.
Well,
we're gonna fact check everything you say, so be careful.
Okay.
Get your grok ready.
I got grok ready.
Right. I think I'm just going to say, my name's Dan Ovick, and I do cybersecurity, and leave it at that. That way I don't have to...
Fact check, true.
Yeah. What is the Maury Povich? The judges say
it's not yours.
True.
That is correct.
That is correct, yeah. You are.
But now you have one that's coming that is yours. Are we allowed to talk about that?
Are you trying to fact check it?
Yes.
Or those are the kinds of questions you ask before you hit record. Is it okay to talk about that?
Wife, no?
No, we're still keeping it a secret.
All right, cut it out.
All right.
You can edit that out.
In all seriousness, though, I do cybersecurity stuff on occasion.
Where?
Yeah, where? I'm an information security consultant at FR Secure. I've been here for about 5 months now, so work with our vCISO clients. Thank you, Joe. Man, this is rough.
You're doing great.
Getting warmed up.
Thanks.
Well, Dan and I Dan and I met back in February of like 23, where I think we were in cohort number 4, and just became real good friends real quick through that. And he's too humble to say it or share it, but been super proud and super excited to see the growth that he's done since we first met, where he was at. And honestly, all the stuff that he has done in support of the CvCISO program, the community, and everything like that. It's been fantastic. And I know that really helped kind of open the door and show the benefits to FR Secure and having you come aboard. So super proud of you, man. Love you.
Let me say something about Dan.
Please.
Where to begin? Dan, I remember when we first, actually, the thing I do want to bring up seriously though is it's one of the things that stuck out to me about Dan is he's someone who puts himself in positions to succeed, and takes opportunities. I was doing a table at like an EOS gathering. It was like a little event where there was booze and pizza and beer and stuff like that. And Dan, I didn't know Dan very well. We were very new, through the CvCISO community. And I invited people, hey, you guys want to come? And he's like, yeah. And he he didn't know anyone there. He barely knew me. And he just showed up and started networking with folks. And it's that attitude. We talked about it on when we were talking to Joe. She had that same kind of spark, and just kind of when you put yourself in those positions,
well, just waiting
happen.
to see if the point in the story where you tell Dan to put his keys in the bowl.
So and he did, because he takes advantage of opportunities. He puts himself out there, puts his keys in the bowl, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, caution to the wind. Alrighty, cool.
Tell us more about that, Dan.
Any regrets?
You guys are. This is
yeah.
No, absolutely no regrets. It's been a great experience getting to know Jordan.
Fed me grilled cheese.
Yeah. Or a event as a venue of grilled cheese.
We'd be better behaved when Evan's not here.
Oh.
They had like 6 different kinds of cheeses.
We're gonna edit this out, right? I mean,
we have a large budget for editing, no problem.
We have a rule on the show that you just post it.
Yeah.
Let it fly.
Yeah, and that's a definite maybe.
Okay.
But
yeah. In all seriousness, no. So, man, this is.
Bring it back. Bring it back, Danny.
From Jordan and Dave. It's been awesome just getting to know you guys through the CvCISO program. And, working with Jordan on the CvCISO local chapter here in Minnesota, it's just been an absolute pleasure. And working with...
Oh, this is going to be the best podcast ever. So I suppose that's a good time to make a quick transition to really what we wanted to talk about here. Beyond grilled cheese sandwiches and whatnot.
Margaritas.
Yeah.
I just realized it's probably a mistake for me to put this podcast on my resume.
Well, hopefully they watch them.
And humor is really important, Jordan. It might really help you out.
Try to tell people, see, I'm a professional. I actually co-host a podcast.
Absolutely.
Check it out.
Yeah.
It's
okay, awesome. So what we did want to talk about in seriousness here is with the holidays coming, and as whether as protecting yourself as an individual or as a VC, so what we're sharing with clients, but also family, friends, and everything is really the uptick of cyber criminal activity that takes place this time of year. And so we're going to want to dive into some of the things to be aware of and hopefully give you some tips and tricks to help protect yourself and those around you. Joe, I know you had an article and some top level stuff to share with us, so we can kind of start there.
Sure. There's actually quite a few articles coming out in light of Black Friday being next Friday. So I know a lot of people like to go shopping. And then you've got Cyber Monday. So there's also more things to be aware of. But as these holiday shopping ramps up, a lot of these articles are really warning that the checkout systems can be prime targets. They're pointing at recent breaches in the retail sector, like Forever 21 and Wendy's, that exposed a lot of card data for months. That led actually to a 50 million with an M dollar settlement. That's a big amount. But also, some of these articles are talking about nation state and criminal groups that really like to use Black Friday and Cyber Monday to as a good opportunity to exploit companies, weak networks, anything that might be exposed, poor monitoring, any breach that can, erase trust and stuff with holiday shopping, right? So let's all remember Target and how that took away a lot of trust.
Yeah.
And so the experts out there that I'm reading is they're saying for companies or retail companies to stay ahead of the game, segment their POS networks, their point of sale networks, make sure there's encryption in place, firewalls are up to date, their intrusion prevention configurations are where they want them to be, and using a lot of application control, and solid passwords, and of course, as always, MFA, right? And make sure that things are aligned with your training with seasonal staff, because you get a lot of seasonal staff in the retail area. So making sure that the retail companies are training their staff, and that's some of the defenses that the retail can go into place. But we also have things that people can put in place to also defend against
Hey,
cyber
Joe,
attacks.
if you don't mind, before we get into those, there was one article I ran into just to kind of put this in perspective, sharing that phishing attempts typically increase by 30 to 40%. During this time, and statistics will show that fake shopping sites will have grown by over 200% during this time. And ransomware incidents double as well, and a lot of it I think is because people are uh, distracted. You got a lot going on. Work is still work, but there could be travel, more time with family, just other events that kind of help fill up the calendar. So you've got those distractions. And then you also have that magic element of putting some deadlines on these things, making people scramble. I remember, I am not one to get the holiday gifts early. So at the very end, you're kind of just scrambling, going, all right, who's still on the list? And I got to go make this happen. So I just wanted to share statistically how much things ramp up at this time. So,
Yeah, that's some good information, because they do.
Well, yeah.
What is the saying with criminals that like to exploit opportunity? There's a saying that they never let a good
You're expecting us to know?
opportunity go to waste.
yeah. Don't let a good tragedy go to
hot.
waste or something like
Or a
that.
tragedy, or
Yeah.
or in this case, a breach.
Yeah. Well, and some of the other numbers, I mean, these are just kind of over the top because we've also got AI, the dark side of AI playing a role that historically hasn't been there. So, and as we look at these numbers, those were statistically what happened without AI being around. Another one here was that AI driven traffic during the 10 days before Thanksgiving is predicted to increase by 520% this year. Yeah, it seems like a big number.
It does.
What else do we got? Oh, nearly 9 in 10 US adults have experienced at least one type of holiday related scam. Fake shipping alerts, charity fraud, gift card scams, things like that. Over 50% of consumers report receiving fake shipping notices, and 4 in 10 encountered deceptive ads on social media. Man.
Yeah, those shipping notices, those, I mean, of course, those are going to be tough because, I mean, every day a new package you're expecting a new package, right? And there's a time frame too. You want to get it before Christmas. So any your package is delayed, that's going to be like, oh, or whatever. Your package is here. Like, those are hot items.
Yeah, because the amount of shipments is just exponentially higher, plus the time crunch and everything. So we got phishing and smishing increased by 237% before Black Friday. And the thing about smishing is, and for anyone listening that's not familiar, that's when you get the spam through text. And just to add to the fun, there's really no spam filtering that exists on text messages. So those are going to come right through. We have, what do we got?
Actually,
Yeah,
this morning I got a spam I have an Apple phone.
Mhm.
And one of the texts that came through notified me that it was possible spam.
Really?
And that's the first time I've ever seen that. So it must be on the current update.
I've never seen that.
Android,
Yeah,
but I
I
have
get that.
malware bytes on my Android, and that notifies me of suspicious text messages.
I've gotten that on my Android as well. In fact, several text messages from Evan always get marked as spam. Now, whether it's Evan or not, I don't know. But I have
Well,
gotten
it's probably good that those come in with some sort of
warning.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I got a text this morning from, I don't know where area code 346 is. And the text just says, "Hi again. Are you free?"
That was me.
You're in area code 346.
Be faked.
Sure.
Again, spoofed.
So,
I did want to throw out just one thing, like with the text message and email and everything else, just to encourage everybody to actually go to the website, right? So if you get a text message from Amazon saying that your package is late, just log into Amazon, right? And double check and see where your package actually is at. Even if you think it's legitimate, even if you normally get those text messages, right, legitimately from Amazon, it's just, especially around this time of year, it's just good practice and a good habit to build to log into whatever website, right, that you're getting the notification from and confirm.
amen. Amen. So Jordan, are you doing anything different to help make your clients and family and friends more secure this holiday season?
Yeah, we're going to start a scam tradition. That's
Tell
a
us more.
recommendation from Grok. Instead of reading the Christmas Carol, we're going to sit around. We're going to read, how the scammer stole my Christmas. Actually, we should write that. That would be great. Like how the scammer stole my Christmas. That's a great book.
Yeah, instead of the Grinch walking into everybody's home, the Grinch is just texting everybody from his little cave and stealing everybody's credit card numbers or something.
I nominate Jordan to play the Grinch.
Sure.
See?
I'll second that.
Yeah. And then at the end, his heart grew 3 times in size.
No, I don't know that we're doing anything different. When you talk about clients, there's nothing like, we don't have like any kind of holiday, themed
Festivus?
approach that we're doing. It's just the same old fundamentals that we're trying to get across. I think, maybe some exposure, like just having conversations like this where you're kind of reminding people that, oh yeah, because we wouldn't take much. Most people have gotten those texts, like UPS delivery texts or whatever. Like, so, just kind of awareness from that standpoint. We talk about things as a family. Like, I don't know that I've done anything different this year. What should I do? What would, like, is there something like as a family, like you should implement to prepare for the holiday scams?
Well, actually, I was stuck on your idea earlier with the thought that we should redo the 12 Days of Christmas to be cyber or cybercrime related. That would be a fun one. I think it really like what you said, where it always begins and has to start with the foundational awareness. It's always going to, when we hear these breaches like Joe's sharing, usually it was a pretty lowbrow way that a system was compromised. It's, people, I think a lot of people may not understand what happened, so they just hear the big numbers. But when you kind of look behind the green curtain, you see a bit of that it wasn't too elaborate how they got in. Like even those guys or folks, I don't know if they were all male, that broke into the Louvre. The password for the camera system was Louvre. And that museum 10 years before had asked the French government and authorities to do a risk assessment. And one of the results of that assessment was don't have the password be Louvre. So fast
That was a
forward.
recommendation that was on the list.
Yeah, not a big budget item to have to justify to executives or anything. It was just,
I wonder what went, like, what did they shift above that on the list? Did they like buy a new firewall instead?
that I don't know.
A firewall with AI enabled features, I think.
And admin password default.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Admin.
But you see, the AI features like mitigate that risk because it's got AI.
Yeah, because it knows.
AI is. Yeah.
Did y'all see that meme I ran into a few months ago where the guy's interviewing for a sales job? So the interviewer hands him a pen and says, "Tell me this pen," and he goes, "It's AI powered." That was, yeah. Oh. But I think minimally, and we've talked about it before on the podcast and stuff, is a situational awareness. You know, wherever you are, how stressed or pressured or tired or overextended you may be, still take the time to understand the environment that you're in and the decisions that you're making based on that environment that you're in, kind of a thing. So I think it starts there. And if we can all do that and help others do that, it helps move things in the right direction.
Well, and I think I think there's there's a lot of fundamentals, a lot of things that aren't really new. Like there's no new way to maybe approach some of this in some ways. But like I was invited to participate in Michael Kennedy's podcast this last week, The Truth in Cyber, and that was awesome with him and Oscar. But he was telling me, I hope I don't spoil something by saying this to the 7 people that watch our show, but he's giving gift this year. The gift that he's giving to everyone is a personal incident response plan. At first, I kind of thought that was maybe a joke, but no, it's real. Like he's putting it together, and it's really cool. But it made me think that, like, that's another step. So it's one thing to say, hey, all these scams are going to be happening, try to notice them, but then taking that to the next step of, okay, let's say you fell for one. Now what?
Mm-hmm.
Now what? Do you have any kind of a plan put in place of what do you do when you click that link? You responded to the message and bought the thing. What do you do? And I don't know that a lot of people know that next step there. Well, what would they do?
Did they share what's going into that at all?
Yeah, he showed it to me. I told him you better send me one but
stocking stuffers.
Yeah. Everyone gets an incident response plan in their stockings.
Yeah, well, and Evan had shared that he was working on his personal one. And, and it's funny because talking to somebody, they're going to, if you just lead right with that, they don't have the bridge to understand the value of it. And it sounds like, you're just, being paranoid or whatever. But when you actually, if you take an exercise like that, and walk through it with an open mind, there's no way you're going to be on the other side of that without having learned something or thought about things, or even things that, between you and your spouse or partner, that hadn't been discussed before.
I think instead of doing games or playing cards this Thanksgiving and Christmas season, we should do tabletop exercises with our families, incident response tabletops.
Yeah.
Doors and breaches.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For real.
Absolutely. You clicked on the phishing link. What are you going to do now?
Grandpa,
Right?
Yeah.
Billy wanted to buy mommy a present. Well, guess what? You bought it from a fake site. Billy, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Billy?
Yeah. Christmas is ruined, Billy, thanks to you, No. Okay, now let's all have s'mores.
Every family has an Uncle Billy.
Yep.
What's
I said every family has an Uncle Billy.
Sure, yeah. And you always get reminded of who Uncle Billy is on Thanksgiving, about 15 minutes after everybody shows up. What was the one from Family Vacation?
Wasn't Eddie?
Cousin Eddie.
Eddie, yeah. Everyone's got a cousin Eddie who's going to click on anything. Yeah. How about you, Andy?
Nothing real specific comes to mind, but yeah, as the kids get older, we've got to educate them on all this stuff, and yeah, it scares me quite a bit. But yeah, we'll send them some pictures of Jordan, and rendering of the Grinch, and everything like that when it relates to tabletop incidents and incident response and everything there, and we'll scare the crap out of them so they won't click on anything.
I like that plan. I will haunt your children in their dreams.
Well, just out of curiosity, Andy, like what level of access to technology? Because your kids are younger, they're at least both under 10. What kind of access to internet and technology do they have?
They can get on their iPads, basically. That's about it. We don't, there's some restriction to it, but not a lot.
So each of them has their own iPad.
Mm.
Dan, what are you going to do for the newborn after you tell your wife that she's
I'm
pregnant?
thinking at like 6 months, when she's 6 months old, get her an iPhone. It's kind of what my thoughts are.
You gotta
She should be
get
able
it
to
in her
hold
hand
it by
early.
then.
Sure.
I think education young is really, really important. And so, I mean, just start right away, just start it off. But no, a more realistic answer, I mean, I don't know. Because I've thought about this quite a bit, especially recently of what I want to do. And sometimes it's like, I'm just going to wait until they're 18 and then, maybe then they can start getting some technology. But I don't think that's the right answer, but also, if they're 5 walking around with brand new iPhones, so trying to find a happy medium. And I haven't fully decided on what that looks like. I think it'll kind of depend on the situation that we're in, and if they're going to school and need a cell phone for contacting us, or if they don't, then I think if there's not an actual need present, then there's no point in having a cell phone at that point. That's kind of my thought. Very generic and broad, but all that to say, I've thought about it and haven't decided
Sure.
exactly.
Well, it's an interesting thought process because I'll share in a moment. But for Jordan and Andy, the kids are younger, and the technology that I don't even want to say that they're exposed to in school, but that is now part of that standard process in school. That it isn't, you could do this. It's no, you will do this homework online and stuff like that. Mm. Are you? Do you get any of that with your kids, Andy, at this age yet?
Not much yet, no.
Okay. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
do, yeah. They're my oldest is 12. She just turned 12. They have a Chromebook. Each person has a Chromebook, and so they do a lot of their stuff there. It's pretty locked down though, and they have a lot of rules on it. The other kids, they don't like get their own or anything, but there's apps that they're supposed to be going through the levels, and so they are required to have some sort of a technology thing that they're doing.
Are they required to do those things through the Chromebook? Do you know?
No, I don't think they're required to.
Okay.
But I'm one of those people. I gave my oldest daughter, I gave her an iPhone when she was 4. Now, before you criticize that,
We're not here to
happened-
judge.
I didn't really give it to her. I had an extra one. It was like brand new because it got replaced out of warranty, but I already had a new one, so I had this like extra iPhone.
Must be rough.
And so I was like, I don't know, like it would be nice to have, she could use it for like when we're going on trips, and she can watch, a show or whatever. So I gave it to her, and she can play with the camera or whatever. So I gave it to her, but we put rules around it. It was like, this is yours, but it's ours. like this stays with mommy and daddy. You have to ask for it, and we approve you to have some screen time on it, and then you have to give it back. It's not like she was walking around texting and stuff and like it's hers all the time. We had some very strict rules.
Sure.
So I share that with you.
Yeah, and to share from over here, we did provide our son with a phone earlier. He's just turning 18 now. But when he was younger, you gave it, and you do it for the reasons you try and communicate the awareness of everything. And one of the memories I will not forget is when he informed me what his rights were as a 13-year-old within the state of California. And so we kind of, so, and
What are his,
what's that?
what is a 13-year-old's
those?
rights in California? What is this?
I don't remember exactly what they were, but it was like rights to privacy, things along those lines.
And this is like legit? Like there's some sort of California.
Yeah. Actually, like when you create the Apple ID account and you put in the birth date, so the platform knows what the user's age is, certain restrictions get removed by default when the child turns 13.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember having those conversations, and I just share it with y'all that you kind of walk in, where we're looking at it through our perspective of what we know, what we're trying to communicate as situational awareness, all of that, just to get slapped back from a 13-year-old telling me what his rights as a citizen of the state are. And yeah, and I can share, if I fast forward to the end, it was all right, who's paying for the service?
Follow the money.
Yeah, well, just okay, so for every right that you're telling me you unequivocally have, if I don't pay for your data plan, it's all a non-issue. So where would we like this conversation to go? And that was 5 years ago, but it was an eye-opener to myself in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, it did produce some better understanding of actions, and potential consequences and stuff like that.
One question then that I have for you guys is technology, right? Or the device itself, that's one thing, right? You can call, text, you can do basic, Google searches, whatever, play some games. What are your guys' thoughts on social media? Things like Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff around that similar age group, right? 12, 13, 14. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Is it
Opposed to it?
okay?
I mean, I'm still kind of figuring that out myself there, Dan. So that's a valid question, and I let my 12-year-old, she does have like a Facebook Messenger kids thing, and but again, it's very monitored. It's very it's not like she gets to just kind of hang out and like do that, and it's like connected on my phone, so I can kind of actually every text and everything I see, absolutely not like no autonomy on like Snapchat or TikTok. I don't see any value in that for that age. I'll let her make a TikTok with me now and then, but
Because the hard thing that I have is, when again with a kid on the way and trying to figure all of this stuff out, right? I feel like it's such an extreme position of, hey, no phones, or no, not even an iPad or anything until 16 years of age, for example. We'll just put that number out there. But in the different research that I've done, in the different folks that I follow on LinkedIn and everything else, it's, there's Snapchat for kids or TikTok for kids and things like that, but there's still a lot of really bad content or manipulation, whatever it might be, even with the age restrictions on there, right? And then there's also different avenues to hide applications on phones, right? There's different, so it's hard to, and obviously, we're all in technology, we're all in cybersecurity. So maybe for the benefit of others that aren't in the industry day in and day out, what is a good approach on that? Because again, it seems extreme to say no devices, but it's getting harder and harder to protect our kids from the dangers of, that come with technology and an internet connection. There's always ways around things, controls, there's ways to hide applications. So it's hard. It's something that I think about quite a bit. I just haven't come up with a good answer yet.
Well, the interesting thing in your scenario, Dan, is to try and think, you can't do the 16 thing. It just doesn't work.
You won't make it.
Yeah.
Dang it.
You're fighting something that you're not going to win.
Peer pressure.
There's peer pressure. There's just so many other dynamics that play into it. Even what's going to be, like Jordan said, because Michael over here, yeah, he's had a Chromebook. He had one Chromebook for middle school and then got the new one from high school. So they're going to have access to devices. As soon as they leave the house, they're going to hook up with a friend that isn't, whose parents aren't saying, the 16-year rule type of stuff. But one of the other dynamics, I think it's just important to realize or take into consideration is, if your child's going to be newborn, even if we said, let's wait till they're 5, trying to think where AI and things are going to be 5 years from now. We have no idea. So that kind of boils back down to situational awareness of and trying to help them understand it a little bit. Going back to, don't take candy from a stranger, just those sort of little things. Even if their van doesn't have windows, don't take candy from a stranger, kind of a thing. Are you familiar with the dead internet theory? It's actually the dead internet fact now. But the theory is that over 50% of the information flowing through the internet is not human interaction. It's bots. It's things that are automated, just whatever. But it isn't just what we remember where I text Jordan texts me back, that kind of a thing. That number, the theory was, let's wait till it gets to 50%. And I think it's around, someone can fact check me, but I think it's around 53% of the traffic that flows through the internet is some sort of automated, machine generated type of thing. So that's the cesspool that they're walking into. And that number will be consistent enough where you kind of, whatever platform you pick, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, those numbers are consistent enough through the platforms itself. One of the greatest adversaries I had in trying to keep things secure was my son. And it was just his curiosity of, it can't be true because dad said it. So how do I work around these things? And then I guess when we talk about situational awareness, it's that they have some, that you have some, and that you have some situational awareness of their activities and stuff like that. And it's really becoming as much of a conversation as other types of physical safety and stuff like that.
It makes me think too that, like, when it comes down to it, social media, like stuff like that, when we're talking about like how we approach it with our kids, I think it's another one of those things where you go back to the fundamentals too. Like as a parent, what kind of an example are you? The kids will learn whether they like it or not. They'll learn from kind of your example. So how you use social media, like it can be a strength if you're doing it well and they're learning by how you do it and you're open and honest with them, but if you're doing it poorly or not at all, that could be a thing. Like, I don't even do social media and you're going to let your kid get on there and you have no idea how that works and what to expect and how to teach them, like how to protect them. So maybe there's kind of looking inward and saying, how am I doing this? Am I someone who goes on Facebook and is, trying to get hearts all the time and feeling bad about myself when I don't get enough hearts and stuff? I mean, they're going to follow your lead on that. And I think that's something to think about.
No, dude, I think you're right. And I think and that's actually kind of where I was hoping we would touch on stuff. And we know this is what we do professionally. We do our best to stay on top of things, but we're going to have family members and friends that aren't where we are awareness wise. So the parents aren't going to be as aware of what is a good role model in those ways, kind of a thing. I wanted to switch it over to you, Joe, because your kids are legally, they're adults. You can tell me where they land, but if you have known for the time that you and I have known each other and how passionate you've been about what we do, how much you've learned, all the progress that you've made, it's very inspirational. But I'm just kind of curious what sort of conversations you have with your kids.
Well, my kids are they're over 25. So they're in their later 20s. So when 13, 15 years ago, with iPhones, this conversation wasn't really being had. But now we have more adult conversations, and we talk about things like situational awareness and password managers and things like that. But I think a lot of things, what really came to mind with social media is influencers. And
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of articles where these influencers are scam artists. And so you have to really watch, who are your children following? What kind of influence are they getting out there? And even as adult children, because they can do whatever they want. I don't really have a say in that, but just to let them know that some of these influencers, they're doing it for money. They don't really care about the people, because that their whole goal is to get your money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all,
So
what's the line? Because like pretty much all social media is available for free. And what is the line? If you're not the customer, you're the commodity.
yes, I always remember, and I learned this several years ago: the big print giveth, and the fine print taketh away. So be very aware of what's going on. And as my children are older now, and they go shopping and they do things and hang out and stuff like that, just talking about that situational awareness, know where you are,
Yeah.
know what you're doing in that environment. So if you're at a Starbucks and you're planning on buying my Christmas present, please wait till you get home onto your own safe, secure network. Don't do it over Starbucks network.
Yeah. Do your kids, with the age that they're at now, do they ever come to you with questions and things like that? Or
No, they know way more than I do.
in their perspective, or yours, or both?
I think in theirs.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
But
what,
no,
that's what I'm
I've
running.
been very lucky though. My daughter is extremely logical, and she's very smart with her things, and so I've been very, very lucky. And my son follows in her footsteps, so what she does, he does. So that they're only 11 months apart, so they're tight, and so that really helps. And because I'm very lucky that she's logical and smart like that, that helps trickle it down to him. So he's not always getting the guidance from mom all the time. He's also getting that guidance from his sister, who he also, trusts. So, and now I think for a new holiday tradition, we could do Kahoot. We could Kahoot it
There you go.
and have a fun time with that. So our schedules might not be conducive to meet, but we can still Kahoot.
Sweet.
Joe,
We'll
how
do
about
it.
your mom? If we put
I
you in
don't
that
think my
kind of
mom
middle
wants to
generation.
Kahoot.
What's that?
My mom, she can run a password manager like a boss. Let me tell you, she loves her password manager and she uses it. She has been a victim of a scam where it almost cost her $7,000. And the red flag that finally got her attention was that she was directed to go to a gas station. And when she was directed to go to a gas station, she went, wait a second, something's not right. And she went straight to the police department and filed a report about the crime. But she had made it all the way to the bank. She had withdrew $7,000 and she was ready to go deliver it. And it was because she was sitting on her little chair doing her little projects. And then all of a sudden that afternoon, her world just in an instant changed and turned upside down. And she went on this goose chase. And so when she finally got that red flag, she walked into the Social Security office in town, and they had told her that she was the fifth person that day that reported that scam. And she had to change everything. And she did not like it. So that was a big lessons learned for her. And she's in her 70s. So that was a lot of work for her. So that taught her a lot. And now she's very, very careful about the scams that come through on her phone. She's very much better at calling me or asking me about it first before doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was huge. But it took that kind of incident, and 5 people in a small town, that's a lot.
Yeah. 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 And it kind of shows how these scams will come in waves.
Yes. And a lot of my coworkers have fallen victim to those scams as well. Not with FR Secure, but with my other positions. So it runs rampant. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
squawk a lot.
I remember the conversations that you and I have had, and knowing what the other position is, not having situational awareness is non-negotiable. And it has nothing to do with cyber, Yeah, it all comes back to risk management
Yeah.
in those ways. Yeah.
Well,
But
let me
I've
ask you
sat
guys
there
this.
on break. I've sat there on break with them, and in those moments, we get a 30-minute break, and I've sat there and watched them click on those links and get scammed just in that moment. So it happens. I find that the younger generations coming in into that position, they have that mentality of, oh, my information's already out there, so what does it matter? And they have that whatever happens happens kind of attitude, and that frightens me, because they'll want to click on everything, but they won't have an incident response plan to fall back on. Like Jordan said, what are you going to do when they own you?
Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys. So I got a text, and this came in on Wednesday, and I mean, I don't know, it seems legit, but it says, "Dear long time no see, I took a photo. Do you want to see it?" Now there's what? There's no links. There's no links. How could this be an attack? What do they
It
want?
wasn't signed Cousin Eddie.
No, no, it's a 660 number. I'm not sure where that is, but it's got to be a place. I mean, what's their end goal here? I haven't responded yet, but I'm thinking I should at least see the photo.
Here, hang on a second.
Northern and central parts of Missouri.
Is that what 660?
Yes.
Do you know anybody in Missouri, Jordan?
Have you
I
been
know
to Missouri?
people in misery.
So what is
I think it's a state.
right, Alex?
I think it's a, yeah.
20.
It's somewhere. Yeah.
Well, actually, there was a presentation. We did a collaborative ISACA Cloud Security Alliance event meeting, and the person was talking about the pig butchering scams. If you're all familiar with those, and basically what it is Jordan, in that text that you got, you're the pig. Just to remove any doubt there, but no, don't read into that too deep. But the idea is to initially butter you up, and earn your trust in some way. And the pig butchering scams usually end up being going after the target for financial reasons in certain ways, but that you've established that trust in advance. So you have some of that quote unquote relationship equity that gets leveraged by the attacker.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be something like that. It could also be where you say, my goodness, yeah, I drank a lot that night in Missouri. I should probably see what this picture is. And they send you a malicious link in some way.
So should I respond to it, or should I report it as junk?
I would report it as junk.
Oh, yeah, what Dave said.
I think that's sound advice.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I guess we'll never know what this great photo is.
Yeah. Or you could do what I'll see a lot on Reddit, where you can kind of bait them, because there really isn't, as long as you don't click on anything, so you can say, tell me more about the photo, have that kind of text conversation just to distract them for longer, to prevent them to consume that time from them doing it with somebody else.
Would you
Like
recommend that?
strategy?
Yeah, I think it's I think the subreddit is r/scam bait, where it's people, and then Jordan, you can go full speed ahead with your sense of humor in the types of questions you ask the attacker.
But do you think, though, that that'll just piss them off, and then all of a sudden you're like this targeted attack, and they say, hey, this guy's a jerk, let's go after him?
No. Well, I mean, you do open that door for sure, but at the same time, they're really just looking for the easiest target. It's kind of like you want to break into a car, and if this one you see has an alarm or something, you're looking for the unlocked car, so you can kind of get in and out quicker. That's more, that would boil down to how much disposable time and things like that you have as well.
I don't have disposable time.
Yeah, then just report it as junk. And
I'm just going to report it as junk. Let Apple's security guards deal with it.
Sure. Well, hey, why don't because we should start wrapping up for everybody's time commitments and everything. I was just wanting to ask if each of us could share one piece of advice for people as we wrap up?
I'd say use a VPN.
Okay. Dan?
Yeah, I think I'll kind of what I had mentioned earlier. If you're getting any scam emails, text messages, calls, just go to a verified source to make sure that is legitimate, or confirm that it's not legitimate. Again, you get a text message saying that your Amazon package is going to be delayed. Log into Amazon and confirm that it is indeed being delayed, or that message was a scam, just trying to get you to click a link. That's what I would recommend.
No, that's awesome. Joe?
Don't pay for anything with public Wi-Fi.
Jordan?
I would say if you have disposable time, go ahead and interact with the person that wants to send you a photo. If not, then report it as junk. Also, I think that have start an incident response plan, a personal incident response plan. I think that's really cool. Start teaching your kids that, if Michael actually gives me one for Christmas, I think I would ask him if the CvCISO local chapter can duplicate it and maybe get into the community and share that out a little bit. But even if you don't have that, start thinking, what would I do if I clicked on a link? What if this guy does send me, or this girl, I don't know who it is. What if they sent me a picture? I clicked the link. What would I do at that point? What's next?
No, that's fantastic. And so glad that he's doing that. And yeah. The one I would have is don't pay anybody with gift cards, regardless of whether they say they're from the IRS or Amazon or Microsoft Security Department. Well, just don't pay them at all. But as soon as you hear, hey, I am from IRS Security Office in Sacramento, and my impression sucks. But and you can all validate that. But, to avoid jail time, you can send us $700 now, and I can resolve this issue for you before the marshals are notified.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Tell me more. Yes, go get Apple or what are the Amazon gift cards, and then give me the number that is on the back.
That's what Andy.
That's
asked
an
me to
oldie
do.
but goodie.
Yeah.
But it still reigns supreme because of the amount of people that actually do that.
Because it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's the
If it
fear
isn't
of
broke.
being arrested. I mean, you just play on the fear of that. And it works very well.
Yeah, the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, hopefully we've made Evan proud. Thank you, everybody. This has been fantastic. I think we covered some real good stuff. You don't think we did, Andy?
I think we did.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
he's on a
Worst
cruise
day of
somewhere having
Christmas, a
margaritas.
scammer sent to me.
You're still thinking of grilled cheese and margaritas?
Cool. Well, with that, let's all wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and the same to all of you. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being a part of my life. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Likewise.
So
thanks, everyone.
Right.
Cool. Thank you. Right on. Stop recording.
Andy actually left.